I stood in the heart of a world reborn from ash, alone among whispers of fire and shadow. They say the dead tell no tales, but here I was haunted by the echoes of those lost in the storm. I, Tyrion Lannister, the last Lion of the Rock, had come to broker a peace that would cost me everything. And I had yet to learn what blood truly meant in this Game of Thrones. The seas roared beneath me, wild and unforgiving, each drop of salt water tasted of dread. I navigated through the tales of shipwrecks, haunted isles, and the fear that clutched at my throat. Does a man drown in water or in the weight of his own thoughts? This journey was a folly, but one I must undertake. What is a lion among dragons? A mere morsel. Yet I had come not to beg for mercy, but to negotiate life. The towering fortress of Velos Neris rose against a fiery sunset, casting eerie shadows that danced upon the ash-choked coastline. It loomed like a tomb, whispering secrets of a long-lost world. The air was thick with heat, and I could almost taste the magic crackling around me. A palpable force drawing me closer to the heart of ancient power. I stood before the dark stone facade, my heart pounding in rhythm with the crashing waves below. What awaited me inside? Would the dragonlords greet me as a friend or as a foe? The questions swirled in my mind, each one more potent than the last. I had no answers, only the weight of history pressing down upon me, of dragonfire and blood. As I crossed the threshold into the fortress, shadows flickered around me, the torches casting an eerie glow. The air thickened, and I felt time itself slow, as if the past had wrapped its cold fingers around my throat. I was here to negotiate peace, yet all I could think of was the doom that had befallen Valyria. What awaited me beyond these darkened halls? Would I find salvation or the ashes of yet another failed pact? They emerged as if conjured from the air itself. The Vael Dracari, their eyes held the weight of centuries, and their voices trembled like flames. Lady Nyxaris, their leader, approached, her presence igniting fear and awe within me. She was a vision of fierce beauty, dressed in flowing robes of black and crimson, her molten gold eyes piercing through the darkness. "Peace is a fragile art, Lannister," she said, her voice a low, commanding whisper. "What will you sacrifice for it? Gold, knowledge, or something far more dear?" I faltered for a moment, the gravity of her words pressing in on me. Gold is only valuable to those who can spend it. What would that mean to a dragon who knows no currency? I steadied myself, the weight of this moment crashing down like a tidal wave. "I offer you knowledge, a pact that will bind our realms. I can be your bridge to Westeros, a voice of reason where there was only chaos." Lady Nyxaris regarded me with a sardonic smile, her gaze unwavering. What is gold to those who sit upon flame? What is knowledge to the one who has seen empires rise and fall? The chamber seemed to grow warmer, as if the very air was charged with the weight of our intentions. I could feel the eyes of the other dragonlords upon me, their judgment like a shroud. I had come to this place seeking peace, yet I sensed that I was stepping into a game far more complex than I could have anticipated. Yet beneath the fear thrummed something else: curiosity. I debated with minds sharper than swords, philosophers and warlocks who spoke of fate and fire. I learned of the truth of Valyria's doom, revealed in fragmented whispers and ancient scrolls. The dragonlords had not perished in a cataclysm, they had been purged. The world had forgotten them, but they had not forgotten the world. With every revelation, the weight of my mission grew. Here, in the heart of their fortress, I felt the truth burn within me, a truth that had the potential to reshape the future. But would I have the courage to accept it? As I sat among these shadows, I could not help but feel like a surgeon without a scalpel, only faith guiding my hand. Lady Nyxaris leaned closer, her molten eyes boring into mine, and I knew. She demanded blood, a price I had not foreseen. But what was my life against the doom of another winter? I offered myself a hostage in a game I could not fully comprehend. "Your life is a curious offering," she mused, her voice almost a purr. "What binds a lion to the flames, Tyrion Lannister?" "Hope is the strongest bond of all," I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. The room darkened, flames licking at the stone walls as if in response to our words. This pact was not just political, it was magical, binding dragon to realm, fire to fate. I knew the realm could not survive another winter alone, yet I feared what their return would mean, a new dragon war or a rebirth of an empire long thought dead. As we marked the treaty in Valyrian flame, the air trembled with power. I could feel the dragon's shadows overhead, the past stirring once more. In that moment, I understood. The war had never truly ended. It had merely slept. "May the gods help us. We've woken the fire," I whispered, the words tasting of ash and inevitability. And thus I stood at the precipice, a lion caught in the web of dragons, the fragile peace hanging by the finest of threads. The old blood stirred once more, and I knew I had woven myself into their fate. Would I be the hero of this tale, or just another casualty in a saga that never ends? What would you sacrifice for peace? Would you do the same? Comment below. In the shadow of dragons, I felt the weight of my choice. The fragile piece hung by the finest of threads, and I had woven myself into its fabric. Perhaps I was not just a lion, but a spark, ready to ignite a new story. If this tale haunted you as much as it haunts me, subscribe to uncover what lies hidden in the embers of history. As I gazed into the horizon where flames danced in a fiery display, I realized this was just the beginning. The past may have shaped us, but the future was ours to forge. And in that moment, I found a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. A flicker of light in a world cloaked in darkness. I stepped away from the flickering flames, the weight of my decision pressing down on my shoulders like a cloak of lead. I was now entwined in their fate, a pawn in a larger game of power and legacy. Lady Nyxoris's laughter echoed in my ears, a sound both seductive and menacing. What lay ahead was unknown, and every instinct urged me to withdraw, to flee back to the safety of familiar chaos. But I could not. The realm needed me. I had always been a survivor, and I would navigate this treacherous new world like I had many before. The pact was sealed, and as I looked into Nyxoris's molten eyes, I could see the promise of both peril and power reflected back at me. "What now, my lion?" she inquired, her tone playful yet dangerous. "Now that you are etched into our fate, will you answer the call of fire?" The question felt like a challenge, one I could not ignore. "I will return to Westeros, to King's Landing. Bye," I declared, my voice steady despite the tremor of uncertainty within. "I will gather my allies and prepare for what is to come. But I shall return to you, that is my promise." Her smile widened, revealing a hint of teeth that glinted like daggers. "Very well, know this. Fire remembers. If your people do not honor the agreement, it is not just your life that will be at stake. The flames will burn brightly for those who betray us." As I turned to leave, the fortress seemed to pulse with energy, as if the very stones were alive, whispering secrets of its ancient past. Shadows flickered alongside me, draping themselves over my path, trailing me as I walked with newfound purpose. The weight of the pact felt tangible, an iron brand searing into my skin. The journey back across the narrow sea would not be without its trials. As I sailed, I could not shake the sensation that unseen forces were watching me from the depths, ready to strike at any moment. The waves crashed against the hull, echoing the turmoil in my heart. Each splash reminded me that I had stepped into waters where no Westerosi dared tread. Upon my arrival in King's Landing, the city stood as a testament to survival and resilience. Yet beneath the surface, I sensed a gnawing unease. The Iron Throne, now empty of Daenerys's contentious legacy, felt like a gaping wound, raw and exposed. I had thought there would be peace after her fall, but the air crackled with tension, and I knew something was brewing beneath the surface. My first meeting with the council was a tense affair. The remnants of Daenerys's court had gathered, each face betraying a mix of hope and fear. Sansa Stark stared at me with calculating eyes, while Arya nodded in acknowledgement, her own sense of justice simmering beneath her calm demeanor. I was not just a Lannister, I had become their reluctant guardian in a land scarred by dragonfire. "What news do you bring from the east?" Sansa asked, her voice steady, yet laced with skepticism. "The Vael Dracarys have emerged," I replied, feeling the weight of their legacy press down upon my shoulders. They claim dominion over 3 young dragons born from hidden clutches. We have forged a pact, a treaty marked in Valyrian flame. Gasps rippled through the room, and I felt the tension thicken. Sansa's brow furrowed. What does this mean for us? Are we to welcome their might into our realm after everything that has transpired? Peace, I offered, though the word tasted bitter. But at a cost. They demand our allegiance, and in return, we gain the strength of dragons to defend against any new threat. Tyrion Lannister had always been a clever strategist, yet I knew the council would question the price of this newfound alliance. Whispers of doubt and betrayal fluttered like crows around a corpse, feeding on our unease and mistrust. Do you truly believe they will honor this pact? Questioned Davos Seaworth, his voice a gravelly rumble. They are descendants of the very blood that brought Valyria to its knees. I have seen their power firsthand, I replied, my voice rising with conviction. But the price we pay for peace is not just gold or land, it is trust. We must convince them that we are worthy of their alliance, that we are not the enemy they once knew. Yet as I spoke, a nagging doubt gnawed at the edges of my mind. Could we truly trust the Veiled Drakkari? Would they keep their word, or would the flames of their ambition consume us all? Days turned into weeks as I navigated the treacherous waters of diplomacy and negotiation. As I met with the council to discuss strategies and alliances, whispers of rebellion began to stir among the common folk. They feared the resurgence of dragons and the memories of destruction that had once plagued the realm. The spectre of Daenerys loomed large over our actions, her legacy still fresh in the minds of many. Fear is a fickle companion, I stated during another council meeting, the air thick with tension. But we must rally the people. We need them to understand that the dragons represent hope, not just fire. The council nodded, but I could see the trepidation in their eyes. Sansa, ever the pragmatist, raised a finger to call for silence. We must prepare for the worst, Tyrion. If the Veiled Drakkari wish to challenge our sovereignty, we must be ready. In the days that followed, I took to the streets, rallying support from the citizens. I spoke of unity, of strength through cooperation with the dragonlords. I painted a vision where we could forge a new era of peace, where dragons could soar above us as protectors rather than harbingers of doom. Yet the shadows loomed ever closer. Rumors began to spread, whispers of dissent growing louder, and I was left grappling with the uncertainty of a fragile peace. What if they turn on us? A commoner questioned, fear evident in his voice. What if the dragons bring ruin once more? Then we will face it together, I countered. A lion does not cower in the face of a tempest. We stand united, or we fall divided. As I looked into the eyes of the people, the fire of determination flickered back. Perhaps I was more than just a lion. I was a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. And so I pressed on, knowing that every step forward could lead to salvation or destruction. Yet I could not shake the feeling that our fate was now intertwined with the Veiled Drakkari's, our paths forever altered by the fire we had awakened. If this tale haunted you as much as it haunts me, subscribe to uncover what lies hidden in the embers of history. Each chapter reveals a new layer of our shared fate, and the dance of dragons is only beginning. The truth is waiting to be unveiled, and together we will write the next saga of Westeros.